Hey guys, this is Art. Welcome back. Today's Monday, and hopefully it's going to be a good week. I just got off work a couple hours ago, and I'm kind of exhausted. So I was kind of conflicted on what I wanted to do. I was very conflicted because of how do I want to tackle this subject? Because this subject is a very interesting one. So I'm just going to do it anyway. Let's talk. It's about YouTubers. Okay. I'm a YouTuber. You're a YouTuber. Everybody's a YouTuber. Okay. These are for the people who make content for other people. Whether you're doing it for money or whatever, you have a voice. Now, your voice might not be the best voice out there, but it's a voice nonetheless. Now, some of you have been with me from the beginning. Some of you came over here because of Dynamite Kid 100. Some of you probably, or Benjamin Button or whatever, I can't remember. But the thing is that one thing about we all have opinions. Our opinions are not, it's not really facts. It's just how we think about certain ideas or situations. Now, what happens now? Like I said, this is a very difficult kind of a video to do because the way how after I do this video, the way how you might take it is either I'm dissing this guy or I'm not talking real life about this guy or girl, YouTuber. Okay, what happened was for on and off for the past couple months, I've been watching this some videos from this channel called The Walking Journey. Now, what happened is some of you might know this channel because of Dynamite Kid 100. And the thing is, they were really, decent friends at one time, and something soured and that fell apart. From the looks of it, from my viewpoint, it looks like it did. To understand that, Dynamite Kid 100 did a video on that. And that's all I'm going to say on that. Now, the thing is about Walking Journey, he's a very intelligent man. Sometimes intelligence brings a certain misguidance, in my opinion. Now, this is my thoughts about his channel. If I remember correctly, this guy have over 6,000 subscribers, which is pretty damn good. Pretty good, and that's great. He is in what you might say a great YouTuber. He has an audience and he does videos for his audience, and his audience responds by watching his videos. Every now and then he does a live stream, and that was good. That's good for him. That's very good. Now, what happens when you start saying certain things that doesn't really make it sound, but it doesn't make really too much sense to a logical person? Now, for the last maybe like 4 or 5 months, I've been watching few videos from him here and there. Watch one or two of his live streams. And before I say any further, he has the right to say whatever he wants on his channel. Just like on this channel, I have every right to say whatever I want, as long as I'm abiding by YouTube's and Google's guidelines. I can do it, and he does. And now the thing is that his followers, subscribers, They like his content, and that's why they support him, and that's good. One thing about Walking Journey, he's a very good, in my opinion, he's a very good man. And the reason why I say that is because he has a family and he works hard as he can to take care of his family. That's good. You can't say anything bad about that. Okay? The problem is some of his viewpoints kind of leaves my head scratching, some, so to speak. And that's what I'm going to talk about, his viewpoints. Now, this is not a bad thing. This is not against the Walking Journey. This is just my thoughts on how, after watching a lot of his videos, I have a good sense of where this content is about. Okay. I could be wrong, but this is my impressions of it. And I'm going to try to make sure this is not too long. In a nutshell, he's a very, very opinionated person, which is good. So am I. So is anybody else that you know. Everybody holds fast to their opinion. The problem is sometimes the opinions doesn't make sense. Maybe sometimes I talk about something that doesn't make sense to you. Either one, you never experienced it, or you just don't quite get what I'm talking about. That's why I try to talk in a certain way so that way you can understand what I'm trying to say. For example, he did a live stream recently, and this is what made me want to do this video. The live stream was about wearing a face mask in public. One thing we all know is the COVID-19 is here. Some of his videos, he said that COVID-19 was a joke. It was a hoax. It was man-made. Okay? Whether it was man-made or naturally occurring, it's here. Then in some video, he says, oh my gosh, this is a real thing. This is this. And of course, in no way for him to switch like that, it means there's something happened that someone he knows very on a personal level has it. One of my co-workers was saying that COVID-19 is a hoax and everything else, but then again, and one thing is they're both, I think that Walking Journey is a Republican, which is nothing wrong with that. Most conservatives think somewhat the same way, somewhat, like most liberals think somewhat of the same way. I more look along the lines of common sense. Okay, no matter which I'm part of the liberal spectrum, but I do believe in using common sense for whatever that's worth. Who knows? Now, one, we know the science behind COVID-19. No big deal. You can look at the CDC website. You can watch this tuber here, this thing here, all these freaking facts about COVID-19. Is it real? The answer is yes. A friend of mine and my co-worker and my other friend, our co-worker, we both work at the same, all three of us work at the same place. She developed COVID-19 and she nearly died. She's been out of the hospital for a little less than a month, and her voice still does not sound normal compared to what she used to sound like. COVID-19 gets into your lungs, and the best way to describe it is having a pneumonia. If you had pneumonia before, then you'll know exactly what COVID-19 is like, but amp it up to 100%. When you have pneumonia, it's hard for you to breathe. When you have COVID-19, it attacks your lungs and it makes it super hard for you to breathe. And if you can't breathe so much, you have to be put on the ventilator to help you breathe. And that's what happened with my friend. Now the thing is it catchy? It all depends on your immune system. That's it. The problem is, how would you know if you're good enough or not good enough to get it? Who knows? You never know. Now what happened is that he kind of flip-flopped a little bit, and then that's it. But the idea about him wearing a mask in public. I don't know too much about Texas. I can tell you about Michigan, but I'm pretty sure a suggestion from the CDC. A suggestion from the CDC is wear a mask or face covering. It's not to protect you, it's to protect everybody else around you. That's what it's for. Now the funny thing is that means so now what that means is that, and let me try to put it the simplest way. We as an American citizens, as in our society, we think of the individual first, society second. Most Asian countries, society first, individual second. For example, in China, if any Asian person, when they get sick, they wear a mask in public. That lets everybody know that this person is ill, and that person is very considerate for you not to try not to pass this illness to everybody else, and everybody else complies with that. They socially comply with that. But then again, that's Asian countries. We're here in the great U.S. of freaking A. We like, fuck that shit. Majority of us is like, fuck that. I ain't wearing no mask. I don't give a damn. Which means that you don't give a shit about anybody else but yourself. That means you're willing to put everybody else in danger for your own freedom. And he said about wearing a mask, it impairs his freedom, which kind of makes me scratch my head. Like so, and I'm like, wait, hold on a second. Going to jail impairs your freedom. When it's good, when they do something, an executive order for the safety of the public at large, even though it's not really a law, but it's something that you should comply with, because they're looking for everybody's safety, not just yours, not just your families, but everybody. But the problem is most of us can't get past me. Wish. But anyway, that's what it stems from. And he's trying to quote an amendment. It wasn't the Fifth Amendment or something like that, about the pursuit of liberty, pursuit of happiness, and that amendment, that one. But the problem is that, so wearing a mask impairs his freedom. Really? And he's talking about going to Costco, and they tell him he has to wear a mask in Costco, which is, and he's talking about private property. I'm like, wait, hold on a second. Any business or organization or even like a platform like YouTube have rules. If you show, let's say for example someone reports this video to YouTube. YouTube has now the right to censor my video. Give me a strike. Why? Because I'm using their platform. When you go to a store, you're trying to buy something from them, and they have the absolute right. You talking about you have individual rights? A company has rights. A store has rights. Okay. Most stores, no shoes, no shirt, no service. No shoes, no shirt, no service. So that means you cannot walk into 7-Eleven without a shirt on. They'll tell you to get the fuck out. You can't walk in there with barefoot. They'll tell you to get the fuck out. It's their policy. Which means their policy is technically their law inside 7-Eleven. But the funny thing is, no one does that, right? Am I correct? How many times do you see a barefoot person in 7-Eleven? Or a grocery store? Or a person with no shirt on in a grocery store? How many times do you see it? You don't see it very often. How many times do you see a bare-chested person, no shirt on whatsoever, in Starbucks or McDonald's? No, because you have to wear clothing to go in there. But the funny thing is, you comply with that. If it was against your freedom to wear a mask, that means you should be able to go into any store but freaking naked. And that's where I say the common sense part it's not. It doesn't make sense because you obey these other things with no problem, but you're saying wearing a mask impedes your freedom. How is wearing a mask for a couple of minutes impairs your freedom? Now, like I said, I'm just saying, just let's use common sense on this. How does it does that? Now, like I said, Walking Journey is an intelligent man, but I know a lot of people like him who gives you beat this confrontation. At first, he says, one of my friends said, I ain't wearing no mask because mask does this. Wearing a mask impairs your immune system, which it kind of does. Wearing gloves outside impairs your immune system, which it kind of does, but it also helps you stop the spread or catching something else. When you go into a store or a building, you're breathing recyclable air. This is my bedroom. I can open the window. Maybe you heard that. And open the door and let the breeze come in, which airs out my room. It airs out my room, and my room smells fresh. Most places can't do that. And they won't. So you're breathing recyclable air. That's the idea behind this. Things you've been doing this before, but then again, how many times you start catching colds and get sick all the time? It's because of that shit. That's the reason why. So that's why they suggest they ask you to wear a mask inside their facility. Now, if you don't want to do it, and you don't want to go, if you feel like you don't need to wear a mask to go into a store, and they say you have to, then go to somewhere else. Simple as that. Go somewhere else. Sue them. But guess what? Just think about it. You sue them, the judge will side with the company because guess what? The company has a right to make those kind of rules. They do. Whether it's they're private property or not. When you see a sign that says no trespassing, do you still go into a building that says no trespassing? No, you don't, because that impairs your freedom. If I walk into your house and you say take your shoes off, and I don't, because that impairs my freedom, that infringes upon you. You see what I'm saying? So which is more better? Their rights or your rights? Okay. And that's what he was talking about. And I looked at it and I was like, man, what in the world is this guy thinking? All you had to do is wear a mask. That's it. You can complain about it. You can call the corporate office and say, hey, I don't know why the hell I have to wear a mask to go into your store to shop. And they'll tell you the reason why. Then, if you don't like it, don't shop there. Okay? I went to CVS the other day to pick up some stuff, and guess what? There was one guy that didn't wear a mask. Did anybody say anything to him? No. But then again, I don't know what that's going on with that guy. I've seen some people wearing masks and bundled up and all sorts of stuff, and I'm like, okay, fine. I have my little face covering, and I whatever. I don't care, because for the amount of time that I'm in that store or that facility, I'm in and out. I'm not there for 2 hours. Okay? Simple as that. I just do it just to make my day go by faster and be done with it. But then again, like I said, you don't have to wear a mask. What the hell? Have someone else do stuff for you. But anyway. Now, like I said, Walking Journey is some of his stuff is kind of hilarious. But sometimes when I watch his stuff, now, did I subscribe to him? No, I didn't subscribe to him. I just watch this video when it pops up on my feed, and I feel like watching it, I'd watch it. But the funny thing is that sometimes I just want to. I wish I could just type in and say, "Look, man, I understand you have this, 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 but they, you're talking about giving away. What rights are you giving away by wearing a freaking mask? There's no rights involved. Giving away a right means that you're impeding in some way. When I got busted for drunk driving, my rights was violated. I was in jail. I was impeded. I didn't have any freedom. When I got on probation, I really didn't have freedom because I had to report to the court. I could still do my whatever I wanted to do, but I had to report to the court, so I really wasn't free. When you drive your car and the light's red, you can still go. Does that impede your freedom? Stopping at a red light, does that really impede your freedom, or is that a simple way of society? Some people say the speed limit is 45 miles an hour. You can go 50 or 60 miles an hour if you want, but guess what? Most of us follow the speed limit because that's a law. But then again, what about your freedom? A lot of laws impede your freedom. Second Amendment said you have the right to bear arms, but it never. No one ever said what kind of guns you could actually own. And because they said that, they could play around with that. Like Ronald Reagan said, assault weapons, he banned assault weapons. Why? Because he said the Second Amendment says this, well, it has the right to bear arms. But the problem is it didn't say what kind of arms you can bear. Simple as that. But a lot of times we all look at things in a certain way, and I say try to look at things in a simple way. The question is, if you really feel that it impedes your freedom, then don't do anything. The question I challenge is the people is that when you want to say this is against what I believe in, or this is against what I believe in, just think about, is your belief better than everybody else, or is it society's beliefs, or does society have to factor in on what you personally believe in? But all in all, I do enjoy some of his content. I do. Sometimes some of his sayings or his statements kind of makes me want to say, yeah, that's kind of strange. For example, one time he said 1 in 5 people has HIV, and I'm like, okay, so that means if you have a family of 6, one of them has to have HIV then. Does that make sense? No. Maybe 1 in 100, I cannot believe that. What if you have a family of 10? So that means 2 of your family members have HIV? Does that make sense? No, it doesn't. But sometimes he say these kind of things, and it kind of makes you scratch your head. Okay, but anyway, and a lot of people believe that. And that's what they're okay to believe what they want to believe. I do hope Walking Journey keeps doing what sirens outside. Hope he keeps making videos. Hope he keeps satisfying his fan base, and that's great. I have nothing against that. I have nothing against him whatsoever. Just sometimes when he say things, I'm just like, I just scratch my head and wonder, where did he get this from? But anyway, that's enough of me talking about this subject. And like I said, I usually don't like talking about other YouTubers because that means some people can maybe not understand what I'm talking about, or maybe they think I'm trying to attack them when I'm not. Okay? And that's not what I'm trying to do. So I'm just trying to say I just saw something and I kind of reacted to it in a certain way, and I decided to do a video on this. True, I could have typed on this video, I could have typed on this and said, look, and told you the whole spiel, but then again, he might think I'm trying to troll him or something like that, which I'm not trying to do. But anyway, if you like this conversation, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give me a thumbs down. If you want to leave me a comment, leave me a comment. If you want to share this, or subscribe to it, share or subscribe. Okay. Right now it's like I said, it's Monday night. It's 8 o'clock. Might want to try to read a book or two, maybe, and hopefully catch you guys soon.